Madam, okay.
You're killing us in our communities. Through our communities. Why do you want to
Hey.
People power!
My name is Wanjira. I am from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm from the Mathare Social Justice Center, which is an organization that deals in combating social injustices in our community. I think the issue of police brutality is something almost every Kenyan has experienced or goes through. But at the community level, especially in informal settlements, it becomes a very serious issue. Why we even started Mathare Social Justice Center was because the youths in our community were being killed at a serious level. And then how it was reported in the media was very different from our version of events. So we thought, let's come up with a community organization where we have our own records of what's happening, and also so that it can inform our advocacy. When we go out there and say police are killing youth in our community, we have the data to back it up. And then we humanize how this issue is being done, because the media would report like 7 thugs shot in police. But in our community, these are people who had a family, who had a mother, who had a wife, who had a son, who have been left behind. So we put out a book called Who is Next Report. Who is next in these police killings? Because so many already are being killed and the government does not seem to be giving this attention in any way. So the issue of extrajudicial killings is a major one, but there are also general social injustices like housing. The issue of housing in Nairobi is crazy. About 70% of the population lives in informal settlements. The issue of lack of clean and affordable water, the issue of the environment. We have to combat that. So all of these issues have a campaign that is attached to that particular issue. For example, we have a Mathare Green Movement campaign that's focused on dealing with the environment and ecological justice. We have a network of mothers of victims and survivors who deal with stopping the issues of extrajudicial killings and talking about this as women who have lost their children, who have lost their wives, who have lost their brothers, highlighting it as a serious issue that needs government attention and even international attention. Or sometimes these African presidents have to be nudged like that. We have, for the water, we have Maji ni Haki, Maji ni Uhai, which translates to water is life and water is a right, that tries to deal with the issue of lack of water. We even conducted a water test to ascertain if our water is safe to drink. And the lab test came that that water was extremely, extremely contaminated. We don't even know how we have been surviving as we take that water. So as it is everywhere in Africa, we did get independence, but it doesn't look like what our lives look like. It doesn't look like your government killing your children. It doesn't look like lack of housing. It doesn't look like lack of clean water. So we need to keep agitating and pushing for social justice, even in independent Kenya. Okay, so mothers of victims came about very organically, because as we're in the community, we are documenting cases of, it's mostly young men who are killed by police. Not to say that women aren't, but the number of people who are killed in our community, the men, the ratio to men to women, the men are more. So as we document this case, we are documenting from a woman who had either lost her son or her husband. So as we are also documenting this other one, so we realize we are dealing with very many women on this same issue. So we thought, let's bring them together and form like a network for them to speak for themselves and highlight these issues, because I think they would do it better because it is them who are experiencing this. And it has not been easy, because these are women who are hurting. These are women who are wounded. and we had to seek psychosocial support for these women so that they know anytime they feel overwhelmed, anytime they feel sad and depressed and all that, they can come to our center and talk to a psychologist, a psychosocial support person. That has been one of the things that I'm glad we've been able to provide for the women in our communities, because it has really helped. Some of these women inspire me today because they are on the forefront fighting. They came to us as victims, and today they are warriors and they are fighting and they are fearless because they have nothing to lose. They're like, and they understand because now we have taught them about human rights, about our rights as a people, about our power as women, and how important our voice is. So I'm happy that whenever we have a demonstration, they are on the forefront, they are guiding us. We are now activists together. It is not, we are part of the struggle together. So having them part of the struggle is absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of the victors that they have become, that they can now stand up for even other people, not just themselves. Nowadays, when there's an injustice in our community, a human rights defender like me doesn't have to go. The mothers who are there have got it. I know that Mama Aliki is there. She's going to rescue that young person who's been arrested by police. So that's I love that this process has birthed that side of the struggle as well. And then in effect, they end up talking to other women about it, about the center, about their rights, about how the police should be treating us, how the community should look like. So it has a ripple effect somewhat because women talk in other spaces, in chama meetings. I don't know what you call chama meetings, but in like merry-go-round, it's very big in our country. Every woman is like in a merry-go-round somewhat. So these are issues they'll talk about there, or when going to the market, or when just sitting at home, they're finished their work, they're just talking as women. So having women part and parcel of our struggle as activists is one of the major ways that the network has brought about. But also it is a place where any woman who has lost, who has experienced an injustice can call home, who has lost their son or husband can join and be comforted and walk with someone who has walked this journey before, who is able to say it's going to be okay, we are going to fight, we will heal our nation. So that's one of the things that I really appreciate that came through in this process. I think everyone approaches it in a different way, but here in Kenya, we say, there's a slogan we love very much. We say, there can be no true revolution without the true liberation of women. So we've got to liberate our women first before we can even think of having a revolution. So in liberating our women, the place of woman in the struggle, she's right at the center of it. For example, when we experience war, it is the women and children who are the serious casualties of this war. Woman, everybody, this is how I think about it. Everybody, Yvonne, comes to the earth through woman. Woman is the gateway to be here. So woman is the, how can I put it? Woman is one with the earth. We have to be like watchmen of what's going right and wrong in the earth, because we're bringing children to this earth. What kind of world are we bringing our children into? That is how I look at it. When we look at it like that, as women, we are not going to tolerate all of these injustices that happen. And then there's the oneness, the womanness. We are woman together. I am woman because you are woman. So we as women have to have that kind of one thought that there's no you and me, there's only us who birth children into this earth, us who fight social injustices, us who cannot stand when our children are being disrespected, are being killed, are living terrible lives as we fold our hands and watch. And then I think there's an innate power that comes to women when it comes to protecting their children. That the government does not give you that. It is in you. it is natural in us to protect our own. So when we do it together, I think it becomes very powerful. And the other thing is we are raising the next generation of Africans. We have to be very aware of the brainwashing that has been done, of the brainwashing that we need to teach our children the right way, to teach our children that to be Africa is to be beautiful, to be Africa is to respect yourself and other people. Is this skin color, forget the boundaries. To be Africa is to fight for a better society. As women, when we understand that we have a serious role to play in the struggle, we have to educate ourselves, we have to sing, we have to commune, be together in each other so that the children that we are birthing can create the Africa that we have always dreamt of. That is our wildest dreams. So, and also that goes to the men who are raising children as well, not just women. Let us instill values that we would love to see in society, in our children. Woman is important in the struggle because she bears the lot of it. It's on her back, which people barely see. People do not barely see the pain and the burden that woman carries, but we know it. Issues of domestic work, issues of caring for everybody in the society. Who cares for the woman? We are looked as very strong. We are tokenized as the Black woman is strong. She can handle it. No, we are gentle. We are soft, So in addition to taking care of ourselves as women, we have a role to play in the struggle, coming together, seeing each other as one, and bringing the generation of Africans that we are going to be proud of. That that was us. No, we did that. We raised that. Yeah, those people who are fighting for motherland, that was us. Yeah, so that's how I see it as a woman in the struggle. So oneness, duty, and responsibility to care for ourselves, because the struggle can also be very overwhelming for women. Emotionally, for example, it was a bit too much for me when we were starting the network, visiting all these mothers and crying with them, feeling their pain for losing their loved one. I think, and then seeing the government not do anything about it, despite all this data, despite having the UN Special Rapporteur on extrajudicial killings in some of these police stations. It was a bit overwhelming. Thank God for our psychosocial support person, because I went right in there. So yeah, even as we're in the struggle, we cannot give from an empty cup. We have to keep refilling ourselves, and we have to be intentional about it. So that's one of the things I have learned in my 7 years in the struggle. Yeah, women power. There can be no true revolution without the true liberation of women.
When we lose our fear, they lose their power. When we lose our fear, they lose their power. When we lose our fear, when we lose our fear, no more killing.
We were having our annual demonstration as a movement. We have this demonstration called Sabasaba March for Our Lives. Sabasaba means 7, which is 7th of July. So this was our third annual demonstration as a movement, and this was very heartfelt. A lot of young people came out. We went to Nairobi town city center to have this demonstration, and police were ready for us. They had come in their hundreds with their, the military whatevers, but we were unarmed protesters, armed with only our courage and our determination to stop these injustices from happening in our community. So as we were engaging in the protest, I was arrested by a policeman, and I examined myself. Have I broken any laws of the land? I have broken none. So why am I being arrested? And this happens a lot in city center. It's almost like to be a young man is a crime, or to be a young person, or to be dreadlocked is looked as rebellion and not something good for the people. So when I was arrested, I first called on people to not allow this to happen, but nobody came. So now I had to stand up for myself. I had to say, why are you arresting me? And the policeman was like, just come with us, please cooperate. I'm like, I'm not going, I'm not cooperating. Give me a reason why you're arresting me.
Why are you arresting me? Give me a reason. I protest because you're killing us. Who is killing you? You police. You're killing us in our communities. Poor communities. Why do you want to arrest me?
Hey.
People power!
And this was intentional political education to teach fellow young people that this is what to do when you're arrested. Don't just go, because then you give these people a lot of unnecessary power that they do not have. As a citizen, you have a right to be informed why you're being arrested, and even with respect, So me, I had committed no crime, and I wasn't going to let this policeman go with me anywhere because we are fighting this kind of system. And to go would be to comply, would be to consent this kind of treatment moving forward. So that kind of exchange was a form of political education to fellow young people in my country. And this policeman did not even know what to tell me. He was like, why are you protesting? And I'm like, now I say why I'm protesting. I protest because you're killing us in our communities, in our poor communities, to be exact. I think the policeman was not prepared for that kind of answer. And then there were cameras on me. So their leader came to tell them that they should leave. And as they were leaving, I remembered something. I don't know if I had read it or it just came to my mind, because I could also see it happening, that these people are walking away because I stood my ground, because I lost my fear. And so they lost their power. So they were walking away. So I put my fist up in the air, fellow young people were there, and I was like, when we lose our fear, they lost their power, which was happening in real time. Like, this was me losing my fear right here. And these were the policemen losing their power right there, because they were armed with the guns and tear gas canisters, but they walked away. They literally just walked away and left me there. And this was also a powerful moment, because it was showing another generation of Africans who, because I'm a youth, relatively young, I think this was the first time I'm being highlighted like that in the media. This was to show there's a new generation of Africans, in fact, of women, who are not going to sit and watch these injustices happen in their community. So in my analyzing the struggle, fear is the one thing that has kept us from our freedom. It's like we can see our freedom is right there, but there's fear right here. We have to conquer this fear. It is us who are being oppressed. It is us who are being killed. It is us who are living deplorable lives. What more do we have to lose? We just have to lose this fear, because freedom is on the other side of fear. You see, so it was to show people that power is with us. I think I emphasized that even after saying when we lose our fear, they lose our power, they lose their power. I was like, people power is our power. Yvonne, I don't understand why we fear. We are in millions. Our oppressors are in their hundreds. If we just come together and lose that fear, I really think we could make a huge difference in our lives. I feel like we hold ourselves back and we keep ourselves oppressed because we are fearful as a people, as a melanated people, because we are so strong. When you read about our history, Yvonne, you realize that we come from people who were strong, who were warriors, who were dignified, who believed in their dignity as human beings, in their potential to imagine a society that would work for everyone. So the more we keep ourselves in bondages of fear, the more we keep ourselves oppressed, and the more we decide. Many of us decide, you know what? I'm done being afraid. Why am I being afraid? Because we'll keep perpetuating this system. We'll birth children who are fearful of the system, who will birth children who are fearful of the system, and then we will perpetuate this oppressive system over and over again. So there needs to be a generation of Africans who break this chain, who are not afraid collectively, when we understand that fear is the weapon of the oppressor. In fact, even when they clamp down on us like that, it's just to instill fear. So to resist is to be fearless. you know? Yeah, and that is why I said when we lose our fear, they lose their power. I think that's the missing link in the struggle. Whenever I get a platform that's outside my country, I like to emphasize on the unity of Africans. I think at this point in time where we are at, it's very easy for us to come together, especially with these digital platforms. I don't have to physically leave my country to come to South Africa. Like now we're having a conversation. You're all the way in Johannesburg, I'm here in Kenya. So Marcus Garvey had talked about this Universal Negro Improvement Association. So if we can figure out an organization that will put Black people in one global universal organization, because now we need to start getting organized. There's no freedom without being organized. That's the missing link in a struggle. Our struggles are so fractured. Everybody is doing their little thing here and there and here and there, which is fine. But can we have an umbrella that brings us all together so that we can discuss Black matters globally? Because for as long as we remain disintegrated and disunited, we're going to remain at the bottom of the pyramid. And I strongly feel it's time for us to reclaim ourselves, our lands, our people, our sovereignty, our dignity. And we can only do that when we come together. So before we get there, can we start at country level? Can we unite at country level as people in South Africa, as Black people in Kenya, in Tanzania, everywhere? And then we will figure out how to come together. So we've got work to do. We've got work to do to educate the masses on the importance of coming together, to conduct political education, and to consolidate these struggles that we're having. Because for as long as we remain disintegrated, I will keep fighting my small war at MSDC for police to stop killing us. But George Floyd was killed the other day in the US. You know, we had the Black Lives Matter movement, but how do we connect? Because it's this same struggle. It's the struggle of Black people everywhere. It's the struggle of Black people everywhere. So we are suffering, but we are not organized. We need to start getting organized. And we need to realize that we are one. You know, sometimes also Black people oppress other Black people. We need to realize that this is my brother, this is my sister, and we need to love each other so that we have just one common enemy. That's what I want to say. So I want to preach love, I want to preach unity, and I want to say we've got work to do. Thank you very much, Yvonne.